What life hacks are actually terrible advice or dangerous? What do men want? Who are the scariest types of people? Friends at work who are the first to go and tell everyone your personal business along with running their mouth to the bosses about everything behind your back. Act like best friends in person, but really try and use the friendship to gain an upper hand at work. Manipulative, narcissistic, gaslighting, sociopathic tendencies. The scariest kind of person would be someone who manipulates and lies like it were normal because they'll easily get you to do things and make you think it was your idea. People who have nothing to lose. People who feel justified in using violence every time they get the least bit annoyed. Yeah, if your first go-to reaction is to act violently at any minor inconvenience, get away from me, please. Those obsessed with another person to an extreme point, be it a celebrity or an ordinary person. In my experience, someone who calls you their best friend after just meeting them happened to me twice. They're usually manipulative and abusive. Groups of teenagers. Living in Chicago, I've learned that scary guy on the train will likely leave you alone, but a group of 14-year-olds walking toward you on the sidewalk might jump and rob you. Lie with a straight face and have no empathy. Todd from Breaking Bad. Nice and polite, but kills people without empathy. What is legal and should become illegal? Not being able to unsubscribe to something using the same method you used to subscribe. Increasing the volume on commercials by 20 goddamn decibels. Hiding ingredients in food by calling it natural flavors. That one's a little sus to me. Overselling a plane and putting people who bought tickets on standby. Siren sounds on the radio. Yeah, police sirens, car crash noises, ambulances, fire trucks, all of it scum. But who listens to the radio anymore? Free trials that auto-charge when they run out. I was a victim of this recently with some skincare stuff. I was very bummed because they charged me like $60. Contracts signed by parents on behalf of their child still be enforceable once the child comes of age. Taylor Swift and Lily Allen are the big famous examples of this, but it happens to loads more who don't get big enough to get the media attention. They did not sign the contract. Forcing an adult to live by the rules in the contract they did not agree should be classed as a form of slavery. Unnecessarily bright dipped headlights. Oh, this is my pet peeve. I drive to work and from work every day in the dark, most of the time on my way home, and these headlights are ridiculous. It's like I'd rather just close my eyes when I'm driving than have to experience that flashing light. It's ridiculous. Catching wild animals and selling them as pets. Hermit crabs, parrots, and many fish still fall in this category and are going extinct because of it. People who don't want to work, why? If I could do a job that was much less stressful, simple, and enjoyable, I would. But to just survive this world, you gotta make a lot more than minimum wage. I don't work in a field I care about, and the field I care about doesn't pay well enough. Workplace politics are annoying, and I don't like potlucks. It's not that I don't want to work, I want to work less. Like max 32 hours and be compensated well enough where I can put my bills on auto pay. Work isn't the issue, it's how much we have to work to live, and I make well above minimum wage, but it's still a struggle to make ends meet. Just dealing with people in general, I find f***ing exhausting. There's nothing that I love enough to want to spend 40 plus hours a week doing it. People love to be useful and productive if they have autonomy and are in control of their own time. The modern workforce is so unnatural that it strips away much of what makes working fun. People aren't built to be robots, but workplaces often expect that you will behave like one. Where's the fun in that? Mind you, I do enjoy my job, but decades of spending 40 plus hours on something is enough to make anything feel unenjoyable. I want to work in my garden, on my home, with my family, on crafts, but I don't want to work. I think most people want to be valid and useful members of their societies. What they don't want is to be ground down to nothing, for nothing their whole life. People aren't the problem. I don't want to work. I want to read. I want to watch the TV shows and movies I enjoy. I want to ride my bike. I want to be able to cook meals and try new recipes. I want to go visit friends who don't live within walking distance. I want to play video games. I want to provide my pets with food and healthcare they need. I want to be able to take care of myself and get the healthcare I need. I want to build things and tinker with cars and build fish ponds. Unfortunately, all of those things take money, and since I was neither lucky enough to be born with a silver spoon up or won the lottery, I have to work to do them. I want to work, but only want to work to be a small part of a very colorful and varied life. Instead, it's required to work 40 to 60 hours a week just to make ends meet, and at the end of it, have no energy left to enjoy what little time you have outside of work. I want to work. The primary caveat is that I want to work on something meaningful. The majority of jobs aren't doing much for society and are a waste of time, because why would I want to spend almost all of my time doing something which stresses me out and means I can't stay in bed when I want to? So many people say, oh, Oh, just get a job you love. But there literally isn't a job I want. Does anyone really want to work? We do it because we have to. Realest thread I've ever seen. Holy moly. What's the creepiest thing you've ever witnessed? My house is on the side of a highway and I have windows facing the highway. It was late at night, I couldn't sleep, so I decided to tire myself out by jump roping. Halfway through my session, I took a glance outside and I saw a man standing on the closest side of the highway staring at me under the lamppost. It felt as if it was something out of a horror movie. Once I saw his creepy silhouette, I immediately just ducked to the ground, and when I looked up, he was gone. To me now, it's a funny situation, as he probably was just some homeless man confused as to why someone was jump roping at like 12 a.m., and when I fell down, he probably bolted. Driving on the interstate late at night. Road was decently foggy, so visibility was somewhat reduced. In this distance, there was a light waving back and forth through the fog in the middle of the road, slowly getting more pronounced as I got closer. I got close enough to see that it was a guy waving his phone flashlight to alert oncoming traffic. Right in the area past him was two cars that had just crashed, and bodies all over the road. No first responders there yet or anything, just carnage and a man flashing a light. That is creepy as hell. Oh my god. When I was younger, 11 or 12, I moved into a new house. My room had a big closet and access to the attic. I was a scared little kid and was worried a monster lived up there. One night I woke up in the middle of the night to see my closet door slowly opening. I didn't move and then yelled for my parents. Found out if the door isn't properly closed, it will open itself. Still, I've never been as scared as I was in that moment. This is a bit of a different take on creepy. When I was about 12, I accidentally went off pissed, I don't know what that means, on a ski run and got a bit lost. I found myself on a flat expanse. I skied in the direction of a massive board that I assumed was a sign, offering directions, but the lettering was on the other side. When I got around to face it, it was a danger sign warning people not to go near the lake due to thin ice. This is Australia, it's not cold enough to produce reliable ice. I realized I could have simply disappeared and perhaps no one would have ever found out what happened to me. Being a kid, witnessing my dad going through alcohol withdrawals, he would hold long conversations by himself as if he was talking to someone on the phone, and he would see things that weren't there. He then took my bike for a ride and fell over and had a seizure. I was too scared to do anything, but someone came to help and he went to the hospital for a week. Went to bed in a hotel room with the balcony door open because it was hot. Had a bad dream of a guy in a red checkered shirt peering into my room, entering and eating an ice cream at the end of my bed. When I woke up, I discovered a half-melted banana-colored ice cream between the bed and the wall. Oh hell no! Not a spooky ghost story, but the creepiest thing I've ever seen was working my college job. I look a lot younger than my age in general. A 50-year-old man was intently set on talking to me and getting up real close to me while he did so. That alone made me incredibly uncomfortable. Then he asks, by the way, how old are you? When I said 24, he looked at me with an absolutely disgusted look on his face and said, oh, I thought you were way younger than that. To this day, I'm creeped out by that single comment. That's disgusting. Oh my god, that's awful. I got nothing to say about that. That's just like, ew. We need less old people that do that kind of shit. It's disgusting. How hard is it to not be a creep? Was staying at my sister's when I was 14 and had a horrible nightmare about being strangled by the devil. I can only see his face smiling at me and feel a crushing sensation on my throat. I told him to fuck off and swung a punch, and then I woke up. I looked over and it was about 1 a.m. The next morning, my sister was complaining that she had a really horrible nightmare the devil was strangling her. I asked her what time this happened and she said around 1 o'clock. I took my nephew to this park, semi-surrounded by woods. While pushing him on the swings, I heard rustling and turned around to see a man in a ski mask watching us. 10 out of 10, we'll never go back. I once worked as a server in a strip club. One member would pay me $20+ to make an origami frog, then step on it. I thought at first it was just weird, but then I learned about the crush fetish. What is cool in the eyes of most high schoolers, but is actually cringe. Most high schoolers being popular for the wrong reasons. As soon as you graduate, that starts over. Better not to rely on being popular and prepare. Telling people how mature you are. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're so mature. Discussing sex loudly with the purpose of having random strangers hear it as if that somehow is a sign of maturity. I'll tell you, it's not. Being rude to teachers. Every person who I know who was rebellious in school cringes hard when they think about they said to teachers. I was never really a rebellious kid who was mean to teachers. The only exception was this one substitute teacher we had where she was very disrespectful to us as a class, and I was just the one who was like, I'm not taking this. So I was very mean to her and I got sent to the office. And all of my regular teachers I really respect though, but she deserved it. Moaning in the middle of the class. It's just a prank, bro. No, you're being an asshole. Adults who hang out with them. Hickeys or so I've been told. I actually have no issue with them just as long as they're hidden. When women smile at you in public, what are you supposed to do? Immediately ball up like a threatened armadillo. Attempt to roll away. I love you. Look behind you in a confused manner. Explode into 1,000 bats and fly off into the moonlit sky. That's my reaction whenever a woman looks at me. Smile, nod, keep walking. Clam up, post about it on Reddit. Run to the land of the ice and snow. Turn around because there's a high chance that she's smiling at the person behind me. Wake up, you're running late for work. Wave your arms above your head to appear as large as possible and yell as loudly as you can. Chances are she'll scamper back into the forest. Honestly, this whole situation can be avoided by tying some bells to your belt so women can hear you coming and avoid you in advance. Stay safe out there. Do a backflip. If you can't, they'll know you're not worth their time. Smile back. Great Mac Miller song. What is a great example of a necessary evil? The ability for the human body to feel pain. As exploitable as it is, without this ability to feel pain, the life expectancy would go way down because people often wouldn't realize something was wrong with their body until it was too late to do anything about it. Pain is the body's natural defense mechanism to protect itself against further injury. If you don't experience sitting down and being humbled, you're all the more likely to not only let success go to your head, but take things for granted. Farting. It stinks and it's embarrassing, but we'd be in constant agony without it. Sadness. You can't be happy all the time. It isn't healthy. You have to take the good with the bad. You learn to cope and move on from it. Corners of doorways, the toes, need to be kept in check. Yeah, if you don't stub your toe for a long time, they actually grow and become sentient. Not buying from puppy and kitten mills. If you don't buy them, they're gonna have a terrible quality of life if they survive at all. But if you buy them, you're actively paying for the continuation of the breeding and putting more animals in that situation. It's a tricky situation and really tragic either way. To protect your country against war is to war. Mortality. Imagine what would happen if you took the certainty of death off the table. It would be absolute insanity. Zoos. I hate the idea of large animals, which would usually have large territories, tigers, rhinos, hippos, lions, confined to a small space. And I hate seeing animals with large intellectual capacities, elephants, large primates, dolphins, lacking stimulation. Unfortunately, we as humans are failing them in the wild. At least zoos with breeding programs, they're kept safe and thriving. Working. Everyone hates it, but we do it because we're forced to need money. It's like we almost did an entire post about this already. What famous person do you dislike and why? Subway Jared for the depth of his selfishness and depravity. He isn't even a little bit sorry for what he did. Jake Paul, he's annoying, obnoxious, and disrespectful. Wait, I thought everybody hated him. You'd be surprised how quickly the internet forgives white men. Steven Seagal, fake bad and habitual liar. I agree with a lot of this list, but I need to add Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams. So true. Get Wendy Williams the out of here. Dr. Phil, because he exploits people for money. I was neutral on Pete Davidson until that Taco Bell ad on here. Why? Taco Bell breakfast is so good. It's actually really good. Better than most of McDonald's breakfast. If McDonald's didn't have the McGriddle, Taco Bell breakfast would be better on every front. Chris Brown. Oprah. Disingenuous as hell. Same for Ellen DeGeneres. Nick Cannon. Not only is that man the host of the god-awful Masked Singer and obsessed with spreading his seed, but he's also a wild anti-Semite, and I feel like everyone just forgot about that despite it only happening like a year ago. Gwyneth Paltrow, because she's so snobby and elitist. I feel like Gwyneth Paltrow is also just really fucking stupid, like actually low IQ. What life-changing item can you buy for less than $100? A good pillow. I bought a $1 back scratcher from an Asian market in town. Best $1 I've ever spent. First aid kit. They are handy when you least want them to be. A decent dash cam. I scoffed at the idea of a dash cam for years. A friend told me to try it out, and it helped me out when I got in an accident a couple years back. Blackout curtains. Condoms. A library card. Free if you live in the library's district. A fee if you are a non-resident. So many resources for self-improvement and growth, and so many free alternatives to paid services. Smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Very important. Make sure you have that sorted out, please. I may be just a disembodied voice reading Reddit to you in the mornings or whenever you watch these videos, but I do care about you. Even if you disagree with my opinions. Like so many of you were like, ew, Mason, what the hell are you talking about? Olives are good on a couple videos back. And I'm like, ew, no, what? Why do you like olives? They're disgusting. Sorry, I got off track. A fire extinguisher. What plot hole irritates you the most? Hocus Pocus. The witches are so amazed by the present day, like they see a paved road and a bus and they're like, what the what is this? Half an hour later, Bette Midler flies alongside the good guys and says, show me your license and registration. How would she know about that? Maybe not a plot hole per se, but it bugs the heck out of me when the interior of a residence doesn't match with the exterior. Completely not the post, but whatever. Why didn't the Little Mermaid just communicate via writing? She could sign her name to the contract, so obviously she could read and write. In kids' movies, where Santa is real, but nobody knows except the kids, the parents wake up to presents under the Christmas tree every year, and they're like, yep, nothing sus here. Toy Story 2. If Woody is an old family toy, which makes sense because he was apparently made in the 50s, then why does he not seem to have any memory of being owned by anyone but Andy? I wouldn't mind as much if it wasn't hugely central to the entire plot of the movie that he's afraid of Andy outgrowing him. One Harry Potter plot hole that has bothered me since I was a kid is how did Fred Fred and George get the passphrase to the Marauder's map. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good is very specific. Not sure if this counts as a plot hole, but Home Alone 2 really bugs me. McAllister family lives in a mansion in Chicago, treats extended family to holiday vacations, has 2 parents who are attentive enough to regularly attend school functions and fairly discipline their children when they misbehave, experienced the worst case scenario from waking up late 1 year earlier. And you're telling me this family still only has 1 alarm clock in the entire house? The movie annoys me for many reasons, but in The Dark Knight Rises, the police force spend months underground, yet when they emerge, they are all cleanly shaven, their uniforms are neatly pressed, and their shirts are pristine. Aladdin's first wish was make me a prince, not make me look like a prince. Make me an actual prince. So the rest of the movie is his friends telling him not to act like a prince, and the bad guy is threatening to reveal that Aladdin is not a prince. I mean, the most powerful being on earth made him a prince, so he's a prince. Why does Santa want Rudolph to guide the sleigh with his bright nose on a foggy night? Bright lights plus fog equals whiteout. Nose light is polarized. If Buzz Lightyear believes he's a space ranger, why does he pretend to be non-sentient along with the other toys when Andy or his mom come into the room? I always assumed it was an involuntary response in all toys. Toy Story 1. The movie is Buzz coming to terms with the fact that he is a toy, and his backstory is not actually real. Toy Story 2. The movie is Woody discovering his backstory. If every toy fresh off the shelf believes they are actually that thing and not a toy, then why does Woody not remember it all? If Buzz is aware of Zurg, then why does Woody not know Jesse, Bullseye, or Pete until meeting them? Face Off. Faces are not masks. The skin covers bone and muscle to help make up the distinctive features, and even if that wasn't the case, Cage and Travolta still have their own hair, and voices, and teeth. Is it a plot hole or a contrivance? What is your most disgusting work story? I got a good one. When I was a cart attendant at Target, I saw a couple bring in their non-service dog, and the dog took a shit on the floor in front of the check lanes, and they kept walking and did not clean it up. I was pissed and I wanted to throw up at the same time. My first cockroach job as a pest control technician exterminator was one of the worst I've ever seen. My seasoned coworker pointed out that when people have severe roach problems, they tend to not have any hair on their face. No eyebrows, eyelashes, etc. When I went back, I noticed not a single family member had any kind of facial hair. Even the toddler has no eyelashes. Definitely still haunts me. I bent over to pick up a tool I dropped, and a cow shat in my butt crack. Ew! Oh, gross! Oh my god! I worked as a corrections officer in a maximum security prison. The first week I worked there, an inmate collected and spread his poop all over the walls. It was in the air vent and everything. It is a health hazard, so we had to clean it up. Me, being the new guy, was voluntold, and I would have to do it. I had to pressure wash and bleach and scrub the doo-doo. I fixed equipment in convenience stores. A young lady once thought it would be hilarious to place a used feminine hygiene product into a microwave, turn it on for as long as the dial timer would allow, and then she left. The smell was indescribable. That microwave got thrown away and replaced, though I was asked if I could fix it. I work in IT for a school district. One of my first years on the job, we still had desktops in classrooms. I got a ticket that one of them wasn't working in one of our elementary schools. I went to the building and went to investigate, and a young child had projectile vomited on the monitor in front of the desktop. There was vomit in the vents and the fans inside the case. I snapped a picture of the serial number, put a trash bag over the entire thing, and hauled it into the dumpster. I worked in a student nightclub on the bar. Saturday night shift over and club is shut, cleaning down the bar, and I'm the only female left. Half the staff have left already. Bouncer calls me over and asks me to go get this drunk girl out of the bathroom. She had her pants down, so none of the dudes wanted to go in. I went in, shouted to her, came to her stall, and she was sat on the floor with her pants and underwear down her ankles. She'd thrown up all over herself and in her underwear. I'm not saying that word because it looks like a bad word that I don't want to say. So I'm going to say underwear. I gently nudged her with my foot, told her she needs to leave, and the club has called a taxi for her. She stood up, pulled up her vomit-filled underwear, and walked out of the bathroom. That's disgusting. I'm gonna vomit. Not in my underwear, though. I worked with developmentally delayed adults in daytime work program. I was filling in being one-on-one with this one client. She ate her own to own me. I quit. Sounds like she owned you. I'm a landscaper, was weed whacking in a backyard, my mouth was open for some reason, and turned right into a spider web. The spider went in my mouth, and I spat it out onto the ground. 0 out of 10 day for both me and the spider. I drank a live centipede in my coffee once. Very uncool, not fun at all time. Not bugs. I hate bugs. I hate bugs. I'm okay. Work in hospitality. I was young and new to the job at the time. I saw one of my supervisors drop a half-roasted chicken on the floor. Well, it actually clattered into a fridge and then to the floor. The pieces were everywhere, and all the marinade had exited the meat. He just picked it up, looked at it to see if there was anything obviously stuck to it, and then served it. Awful. What's incorrectly perceived as a sign of low intelligence. Asking questions. How are people supposed to learn if they aren't allowed to ask and expect the correct answer? Someone with a low-level job isn't automatically unintelligent. Changing one's opinion. Stuttering or stumbling over words. Being inarticulate does not mean someone is stupid. Unfortunately, it can come across that way. Humility to openly admit you don't know something or enough about something is seen that way for some dumb reason. Taking a second after hearing something to respond. Broken or heavily accented English. Not answering straight away. The only answer you can get right away is a canned answer. Looks. I've known many super intelligent people who were assumed to be stupid and treated badly. Dyslexia. Going to community college. Everyone I've ever told that I started at community college has said it was a super smart decision. Slow speech. Some of the smartest people I know talk very, very slowly. What's something you thought wasn't worth the money until you actually tried it? Paying for movers. Yeah, next time I'm definitely not having them do it myself. I'm paying somebody. A good shower head. Seriously, once you find the right one, it's worth every penny. Edit, y'all are perverts. Good underwear. Not being uncomfortable in the crotch was a 5% improvement to the overall quality of my life. Worth paying twice as much. There aren't a lot of cheap purchases that you can make that will improve your overall quality of life by 5%. Owning my own tools and learning how to build and work on things myself. A good quality mattress. A good massage. A good vacuum. Mine sucks. Shut up. That joke was made before the vacuum cleaner was made. Good shoes. An electric toothbrush. Therapy. Noise canceling headphones. I never knew how much background noise caused my body to feel tense. Sometimes I wear them with no music. No, I'm not on the spectrum. What's something you wouldn't even try once? Cave diving. Nope. Yeah, you can never catch me freaking cave diving. Oh my god. I'd scream and then die. Anything that involves me not being able to move my body. And tarantulas. Russian roulette. That cheese with the maggots. I'm sorry, what? What do you mean cheese with maggots? I'm not even Googling it. I'm not Googling it. I know I always, if I don't know what something is, I'll look it up really quick, but I am choosing to live in blissful ignorance. I am not Googling cheese with maggots because I'm gonna see bugs and I'm gonna throw up. A willy piercing. That means penis. Climbing Mount Everest. It's basically a graveyard up there. You're walking up on dead people. Bungee jumping and skydiving. Safe most of the time, but you're 100% if things go wrong. Scat play. Whoa. Respect Miss Ella and Satchmo. Skibbity bop boop boop doo wop bibbity bop. Bathing in a septic tank. Talking about Will Smith's wife. I really don't feel like getting slapped, so I'm good. What deceased musician would still be making amazing music if they were alive today? Marvin Gaye. Also real sad that his dad was responsible for taking his life. Jimi Hendrix. Freddie Mercury. Jeff Buckley. Mozart. Bob Marley. M.F. Doom. Prince. Avicii. Amy Winehouse. Aaliyah. Mac Miller. How do you know you're attractive? I attract stuff like debt or misfortunes. The IRS keeps trying to f me. This sexy MF in the mirror keeps telling me so. That's how. I don't think I am, but the person I care about the most thinks I am. So that's good enough for me, because I get ads saying sexy singles are in my area. There's no one for miles. So I've concluded that I'm the sexy single. People are attracted to you. People literally make an effort to get your attention for a purpose other than selling you something. My mom told me so. If a kid says you're ugly, then you're ugly. Same goes for if they say you're beautiful or pretty or handsome. Then you probably are. They don't usually lie. That's honestly the best test. I used to get catcalled a lot. I'd hear things being yelled out at me from passing cars. Now I weigh 40 pounds more and I don't get that anymore. I didn't want to be catcalled, but I knew I was attractive. Now, not so good looking. What life hacks are actually terrible advice or dangerous? Absolutely anything posted by 5 Minute Crafts started off so innocent, and now some of that is lethal. It will kill you. They've run out of ideas. Any street fight advice that isn't, it's not worth it, run away. When cutting bagels, remember to put your finger through the stabilization hole. Setting up candles and clay pots to heat your room instead of turning on the radiator. That's how a lot of fires start. There was a big thing a while back about boiling water melting the ice on your windshield. Someone else used this hack for me and my windshield cracked into a total spider web. Using a nail file to shave the edges of your teeth to make them straighter. A better question would be, what life hacks aren't terrible advice? What do men want? I'm curious to see what other men want, because I know what I want. Love, money, more Pokemon plushes, more Pokemon things. I'm a simple man. Probably a lot of the same things women want. Less stress, more stability, to be successful in their endeavors, etc. A nap and 15 minutes to myself. A back and neck massage. Cabin in the woods, away from everybody. Loyalty, time alone, and to feel appreciated. I could die a happy man if I actually saw the impact my life had on others. Companionship and a deep emotional connection, even if they don't know how to ask for it. I personally just want to love someone and be loved back. Could do away with pretty much everything else. To find the lost city of Atlantis. Maybe also getting some soft forehead kisses too. A hug. Just a hug. Only one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. Playing online without lag. I just want to go home to step on a really crunchy leaf. Lego. A realistic and captivating pirate-themed video game. I want it that way. Tell me why. Definitely not hot chip and lies. Edit, I will allow the hot chip because it didn't lie. People who all over toilet seats. Why? I watched a video on Twitter from an alt account of someone who lives by me, filming himself all over the toilet, walls and floor in a pub. Absolute trash. You're telling me that's disgusting behavior. I have known 2 guys that do this. The only thing they had in common was that they were both dumb f***s. The toilet seats killed my parents, and now I seek revenge. You gotta do what you gotta do. We'll let it slide. I grew up with 6 brothers, and never in my life have I had to clean pee off a toilet seat until I became a mom to 2 girls. It's almost impressive. I don't know how they do it. I used to be a caretaker in both elementary and high school for some years, and the girls' bathrooms were always worse than the boys. Not just piss all over the seats. I clean after myself, but my splits. I want to put up a sign, stop doing jumping jacks while pissing in the men's room. Hey, if you can do that, it's kind of impressive. When your is set on spray instead of stream. I usually like the mist setting. Always feels nice and cool in the summer. What show will you never get tired of rewatching? Whose line is it anyway? The Twilight Zone. Taskmaster. EmKay, which shouldn't need to be said, but it does. What We Do in the Shadows. Band of Brothers. The IT Crowd. For the people who are too cool to watch The Office. Black Books. Arrested Development, specifically seasons 1 through 3. Bob's Burgers. The Office of Animation. Downtown Abbey. South Park. Simpsons. First 10 seasons. What are the unwritten rules of Reddit? If you see someone you know, no you don't. Don't post personal information or use your actual name as your username. If you find an abandoned safe, for the love of God, make sure it's open or can be opened before posting a picture. Do not, under any circumstances, post will update soon. Please, we don't want to wait. We just want to know. Someone has to ask a question about sex, men or women, at least every day. How do I get the sex out of the men women? Can anyone explain to me what the difference between top, hot, and best posts? Top, most upvotes. Hot, been upvoted a lot recently. Best? No idea. Maybe highest upvote to downvote ratio. The meaningless details in the background of a photo should be discussed at length, despite the original idea of the poster. Example, I just finished tuning this beauty. A photo of a vintage motorcycle in a garage. Top comment, I would never store my gas like that. Tiny blurred gas can barely visible in background. You trying to burn your house down? Because that's how you burn a house down. Guys, if you do this, shut the f*** up. Never tell someone in real life your username, especially if you recommended Reddit to someone. Edit after 9 hours. Forgot to switch to my main before commenting. Is there a rule that you gotta mention every time you edit something? Because I keep seeing people do it. I think that's just common courtesy. Everything is apparently faked, staged, and from 9 years ago. Also, you're wrong. Guys, I'm the only one who can be right in any situation ever, and if I'm not right, you're lying. If they answer your question, upvote them. If you answer their question, upvote the post. If you simply like what you see, upvote it. Everybody has got a voice here, and opinions are so different. If you are nice, someone could attack you. If you are mean, someone could attack you. Gain the confidence to not feel bad if someone doesn't like your opinion. That's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, and if you're new, subscribe. I see we've gotten a good amount of new subscribers recently, so that's pretty cool. We're on the road to 100K. That'd be awesome. Subscribe if you're new. It's free. And also make sure you have post notifications turned on. You get notified every time this channel uploads. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.